Evening, everyone. I hope you're really good. We've got lots of people joining us, but thank you for being here first. And I do appreciate that. Happy New Year. If I haven't spoken to you recently, John, I saw you last week, but Happy New Year. Hope you're good.
And to you.
Yeah. Hi, Amit. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Doug. Hope you're good. Stephen. Hi, Maria. Hi, Jack. Good to see you all. And yeah, Peter. Helen. Good evening, Stan. We're going to go. The plan is that if anybody's got any questions that they would like to ask in respect of anything, then we have a group of like-minded people here that are happy to answer those questions. We'll take those. So it can be a mastermind. If not, I can cover some training that I put together very recently because I went through some challenges last year or the year before, in fact, and I can cover those as well. We have Amit, who's a mortgage advisor. So if you've got any mortgage questions, then please feel free to ask those. Yeah, so we'll just give it a couple more minutes, but it'd be really useful if you could just put in the chat where you're watching from. So are you in the whereabouts? If it's the UK, whereabouts in the UK are you? Are you currently investing? Are you a service provider? So we've got Notting Hill, London, fantastic. Canterbury, we've got Maidstone, Wigmore, which is I think near Gillingham, Chatham Way, Croydon. Brilliant. This is the beauty of Zoom. I absolutely love Scotland from Helen. Good evening, Helen. Hope you're well. And we're really good of you to join us. A fantastic Zoom. I love Zoom because you can just connect with people all over the world, and they don't have to be like having to travel and all of these things. There's so many advantages to Zoom, and I think lockdown was one of the great things that came out of lockdown was, having Zoom and doing that. Yeah, we've done Skype before, but this technology is absolutely fantastic. So, does anybody have any questions or anything that they're working on, or any things that they would like any input from anybody here? If so, just unmute yourself, and then we can see to answer those, or anybody else that can. Give that a couple of minutes whilst people are joining us. So if you just joined us, good evening, Cash. Hope you guys are good.
Hi, Snell. Good evening. Yeah, very well. Thank you. Yourself?
Good. Yeah, very good. Happy New Year to you. I've not seen you for a while, so
Yeah, happy New Year. We haven't met or spoken for a while.
no.
Hope everything's okay at your end.
Yeah, very good. Big plans this year? Have you got much going on?
Yeah, it's sorry, I'll just turn on my video. Uh, yeah, I think the lending market is very busy over the last few weeks. The rates have come down, and I thought it would be a quiet start to the year, but we have been very busy with inquiries, remortgages, bridging cases. So yeah, I do actually need to take time out of lending and do something on my own, working on my own projects this year if I can.
Well, hopefully we can cover some of those bits this evening. Do you think the rates will go down or continue where they are?
It's a good question. We've got the Monetary Policy Committee meeting again on 1st of February. I think the inflation has just picked up again. I think it was in the news today. So it'll be interesting to see how the MPC reacts to that. I think looks like the rates are going to be stabilized. If the inflation is going to peak up again, they might look at 0.25 over next few months.
Yeah.
But I think it's swaps that we have to keep an eye on, the swap rates, which is mainly used by lenders to lend to each other. But I don't think it's actually, personally, I don't think it's going to be going anywhere up to 6%, which we thought at one point last year that the base rate will peak to 6%. That looks unlikely now.
Yeah. Thank you, Cash. Really appreciate that. Anybody got any views on what's happening in the market?
Well, interestingly, what are the main drivers behind the current increase in inflation? Tobacco and alcohol, apparently. I don't know how people view that. But
is it related to stress?
well, probably, yeah. I don't know. Why is it all gone? I've lost you all.
No, I can still see, I can still hear you. But
Yeah,
very, very interesting external factors, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, external factors really, really are there. They're important. But let me just cover some bits if that's okay with you guys, and then if you've got any questions, just put them in the chat, or we're happy to have a discussion as well. But most of you I've met in person, most of you I've spent time with, which is fantastic. If we haven't met, I do apologise, but hopefully we can spend some time in the future together. So this is Property Millionaire Mastermind is a non-profit making concern. We don't make any money from these events, because this one is free. Even in the personal events where we get together, by the time we've covered the room and the buffet and things like that, it's not, the aim is not for that. The aim is for us people, like-minded people, to get together, to get some knowledge, to grow our businesses, to grow as individuals, to make connection, and just help each other. And I've worked with many people here. John Parker there is a valuer, surveyor, has helped me on numerous occasions because I've needed valuations. I remember one day, I think he did 6 in a day, 6 different projects, and he went out and we didn't see him until the end of the day. And the reports came back within days rather than months. So we were very grateful, because it's great for us because we're going to a lender and the lender needed those reports, and we were then able to get finance really quickly. So having the right connections, is absolutely key to growing a business, to making sure that you can pick up the phone to somebody and say, I've got this, and this. Can you help me? They say, yeah, look, I'll make sure it's done. And the level of service has been fantastic. So I appreciate that, John, and I appreciate other people that I could mention that have been here as well. So that these events, if they're in person or Zoom, only happen because of a gentleman called Dan, and Dan has been helping me for the last 4 years since we've been doing this, where he sets up the Eventbrite, he sets up the social media, he informs, and then like this evening, he sent me a link and said, right, you be there, and he's done all the background work. So, and he runs the WhatsApp group, and thank you for everyone for being in the WhatsApp group. Again, that is free. We've just hit 500 members, so there is a lot of sharing of information. Again, non-profit, but it's sharing of information. If you're not in the WhatsApp group and you'd like to be in there, if you just connect with Dan, put your name and number in the chat, he will add you to that. And then just introduce yourself when you come in, what you're looking for, how can you help the group, etc. So let me just see if I can get the screen correct. As I say, those of you that don't know me, I'll just quickly run through a few slides so that you just get a bit of an idea. If I can work out how to do this. So this is myself and my wife, and I just like to say that's why I was trying to move the slide along. There you go, that's my name. And I would say that our business is not complicated. It's very simple, and I'll show you a strategy or strategy plan that I've had for many years. So I have a buy-to-let portfolio, and the buy-to-let portfolio is basically 2, 3, and 4 bedroom properties in Sittingbourne in Kent and in Stoke-on-Trent. So the properties on the left-hand side are in Stoke-on-Trent, 4 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and then we've got little commercials as well. And so that's the main business, and that's the reason why certain things happen. It's the reason why a lot of things happen. So then I've gone into commercial conversions. This was a development of 8. And above the corals there, we converted 4 flats, and in the back we built 3 flats, and the last one was underground, which became very complicated, so we just exited and got our money out as well as a profit. This is a development in Newington. It's got a bungalow that it started with, and then we've got planning for 10 large houses. We've now sold those, or we're about to. We're in the process of selling those, the development plus the bungalow, and then moving into other areas. Now, the portfolio in terms of the buy-to-lets, I've had since my first 2 properties were in 1989, so 30 plus years. And I didn't start off thinking I'm going to be an estate agent. I didn't think, oh, I'm going to be developments. And I'll show you a quick plan I had in a minute. But the estate agency is based in Sittingbourne. We employ 10 people, and they look after our properties as well as properties for other landlords. So in 2008, when the market changed and the people couldn't sell their properties, they went into rental business. And I just happened to know people, and they say, oh, you rent your own properties out. Would you mind renting mine out? And that's how our letting business started. So the lettings business then went into as we do sales as well. Why am I telling you all that? Is because you don't start off maybe with a big vision, but it builds up over a period of time. So at 65, bring the calculation will include marriage. Yeah. So I just think I'm doing something wrong here, Dan. There you go. So as it's January, I'll just quickly cover what are your key objectives for 2024. I'm sure some people sat down in December and they started writing down their goals. Some people did it recently. And this week there's a day this week where New Year resolutions have started, and it's called Quit Day, where people quit their overall objectives or their promises that they made to themselves. And you know, it's too much, it's cold out there, and the diet's gone out the window and everything else. What are your long-term objectives? Do you want to give up working for somebody else? Now, I had a career working for somebody else. I was a manager on a motorway service area, and every nine months to 1 year, they'd say, would you like to go to a different location? Because they needed somebody, and I was young and single and everything else. And it was great because they also paid relocation allowances. But did I want to work for a company? Not really, because when I first started, I knew that I wanted to work for myself, but I needed to work for a company to get an education as well as get income. But what is your goal? Are you working for somebody else currently, and you're looking to work for yourself every day so that you're building your own wealth, you're building your own business? And 20 plus years ago, when I gave up working for an employer, I'd been working for that employer for 10 years, and I earned more money in the year that I left them, the year after I left them, than I did in the 10 years that I worked for an employer, because of property. And the property business allows you to do that. Now, I didn't just jump from working for an employer and going into full-time property. I actually built my property business alongside building the property business alongside working for somebody else. And that's what I suggest you do until you get to a certain level where it's actually costs you money to go to work because you're losing money every day, not building your property business. So what is your aim? Are you looking to give up working for somebody else? Are you looking to enjoy more freedom of time? Work when you want to, where you want to? Is it financial independence you're looking for? Financial freedom? What is it for you that really drives you? Is it cars? Is it houses? Is it holidays? It's different for everybody, but I think one of the key is not just the money, but what will the money get you? And when I look at my goals, I never thought, oh yes, I want to go into the property business because one day I want to be in a situation where I can provide for my mum booper cover, or this week she needed a stair lift, and she doesn't actually need it yet, but we've got it in place. But I was able to go, Yeah, I'd like to order this now and before she needs it. Those are not the goals that somebody sits down, but those goals may occur. And the Bupa cover at the moment, she's coming to 90 in May, and the Bupa cover premium is £750 a month. And I don't say that, oh, look at me. That's what I said. It's the ability to do things that money and property allows you to do. And I don't think that really people, not necessarily people here, some people I speak to, they think it's about the money, it's about this, but it's actually about beyond that, what you can do and how many people you can help. So really, I'm suggesting that you think about what is it that you want this year. And if there's any questions or comments, please raise your hand and I'll try and cover that. Was that your hand up, John?
It is.
Yeah, great. Go for it.
In addition to everything you've said, I mean, I broke away from my professional partnership 9 years ago and went, I went entirely solo. And whilst it did take a huge leap of faith, you have to believe in yourself and you have to believe that you're capable of surviving on your own. But I can't tell you how liberating it's been in the last 9 years to be actually able to dictate your own future and your own routes to success without somebody else interfering. It's incredibly liberating.
Yeah, and I thank you, John, for coming in there, because I forgot that. But it is not just the freedom of money; it's the freedom of mind.
Absolutely.
You can have time off when you want to. You can do things when you want to do things. When I worked for an employer, I wanted to go to a wedding. I'd have to ask the employer, I need to go to a wedding. I need to go to a funeral. These days, I don't have to do that. And that's not because I'm anything special, because those opportunities are there for everyone. If they go through property, and I'm saying property, you could do shares, you could do all sorts of stuff, but I can only tell you my journey and what I've learned from, the vehicle I've taken, which is property and buying simple properties and renting them out. So yeah, thank you for that, John. And I forgot to say those things, that it is liberating. It is a major sense of freedom. It's a peace of mind as well, and lots of things in addition, security. So when I bought my first 2 properties, I had a simple plan, and this is it. I'll share it with you. So that was 30 years ago. I was working for an employer, and I was taking home £1,000 a month, working long hours. And so this, if I can, I don't know, it's just going to come up in a minute. I might, okay, Dan, going to the next slide. Or yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you might need to click on the screen, and then if you want to use the arrows on your keyboard, it might be easier.
Yeah, okay. My simple plan was that I needed 10 properties, each earning a profit of £100. So I bought my first 2 properties and realised that was okay. And the simple plan was I got 2 properties and they were both making £100 at that time. So I got this plan in my head that if I bought 10 properties, I basically would have £1,000 income a month, which would be the same as my income as an employed person. Just moving on to the next slide in a minute. It says you've got control.
Yeah, what you have to do is if you click on the screen just after I mute, it should then say you've got control again, and then you can use the arrows. So from now on.
So could you just repeat that, because I'm pressing the arrow, but you still got control?
Yeah, you should. If you can just left click onto the screen, just anywhere.
Yeah.
There we go. You should now have control. And now if you use the arrows, it should move you along.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I was saying how good Zoom is, and it's me. I'm not left click. Yeah, there we go. So 10 properties, £100 each, £1,000 income, fairly straightforward plan, which allowed me to give up my full-time job. I didn't give up my full-time job. I continued the job. So I'd have 2 sources of income. I wasn't that educated in terms of all this multiple streams of income. It was just a case of oh yeah, I've got an income from my employment job and I've got an income from a property business, and it wasn't even a property business then, just some rental properties. And then the interest rate, I mean, I was talking to Cash earlier on, as you heard, we're talking about interest rates, and the interest rate went from 7% when I started, and within 2 or 3 months, it'd gone to 15, 16%. And those people like Doug who are here will know that those interest rates went up very, very quickly in months. And yeah, the impact, but that was my basic plan. So if you're already a property investor, what did you start with? Did you have a goal? What is your goal? If you could just write in the chat, my goal was to buy X amount of properties, or my goal was to have X amount of income. Did you have a plan? Or was it just a desire that you had to get into property and change what you do and what you earn? So yeah, what was your plan? Because I think that these things are important in terms of people have goals, but then there's also longer term goals. Right. Yeah, so having a clear goal or aim, such as the amount of money you want to earn on a monthly basis, a yearly basis. So if oh, brilliant, somebody's, oh, sorry, I missed who it was, but yeah, I'd like to quit my job, replace my income, generate generational wealth from Daniel, fantastic. Is knowing your number. What is that number that you need to earn on a monthly basis, a yearly basis, 10 yearly? You may not know where you are in 10 years, but it's what is the income that you need to earn. And I think that needs to be very, very clear in your own mind. Brilliant. Thanks, John. £1,500 per month. Want to control my future, taking control of everything. Yeah. What does it look like? Be very clear of what you're looking for. So once you know what you're looking for, and as I said, I didn't start off with grandeur goals, or I need to be a millionaire, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. It's very basic. I need to control my income, or control my, yeah, just this is the amount of money I need. Francis, fantastic, 5K a month. Initial plan was to achieve cash flow to pay certain bills or certain things off, build up on momentum. Yeah, momentum is the key. Once you get one property, you get income, you can then leverage and then continue and to continue again and again. So what is your plan? What is your desired level of income? And I thank those people who put it in the chat, but you know, I enjoy doing what I do, but please put in there, please write on a piece of paper what your goal is. Jack, 4K a month, fantastic. 6K from Peter. So put in and make sure that you write down what your goal is, and then we can work on plans. Having a clear goal and a plan will help you. It certainly will. It keeps you focused. You know, people say, I can't find the deals. There's no deals out there. It's when you have a clear goal, you can identify opportunities quicker because your brain is working to identify those particular opportunities that you're interested in. Everything else is deleted. So you'll then become razor focused. You'll become clear in your communications when you're going networking meetings or when you're speaking to people. It's very clear. So people go to, oh, what you're looking for? Yeah, I'm looking for a property. Yeah, great. What type of property is it? Is it a commercial conversion you're looking for? So if you're clear in your mind about what you're looking for, it's extremely clear that you can communicate that within a very quick amount of time to somebody else. So they can walk away knowing, oh yeah, I know what Jack wants. He wants to get in a property and he's looking for properties that need doing up. So, you know, I spoke to Stephen a while back. He came to one of our property meetings and he said, you know, I'm looking for SA units in Kent. If you've got anything, he was very clear. So if I had something and I was able to call him and say, oh, you know, this is what you're looking for. It'll also ensure that you keep on, you'll stay on track because there is so much information out there. on social media. There's so much on the internet. There's so many things that are being offered to us on a daily, hourly basis. So you could, if you were watching the television and you didn't like the commercials, yeah, you could fast forward or you could just not watch television. But if you're out and about in social media, I get daily, writing books, earning money from this. So you must be very clear on what you want. I found a property acquisition not about money. It's always about, oh, sorry, could you just, that's really good. Yeah, it's always about the end result, which is creating a lifestyle of your choosing. It's never followed by the money. That's some Doug, and I totally agree with Doug. For me, it's never been about the money. It's the person I become and the freedom that you can acquire. So it's really knowing your why and not just having a goal, but really knowing your why of why you're doing this. I'm just going to move on. It will ensure that you acquire the skills to become the person that you want to be. Do you agree? If you agree, then put a 1 in the chat, that in order to earn the types of money that we've had in the chat, the 6, the 4s, the 5s, the £7,000 a month, that you're going to need to acquire different skills. So if you're going to acquire them from stockbroking, then you're going to need stockbroking skills, or selling, buying shares from the stock market. You're going to need to acquire those skills. If it's skills of the property investor, then you're going to need to acquire those skills, which are extremely important. So knowing your goal puts you on a path to, this is what I need to learn. This is what I need to do. So when you're getting offers of training and it's so cheap and you think, oh, that's fantastic, it's only £20 and I can get 2 days training, but it's in the wrong field that you want to do, then that's not going to help you achieve your goal. Yeah, you'd have a great time and a great education. So in my mind, or in my view, it's really, really important to have goals. There are 2 things that are even more important than goals. Can anybody either unmute and say what they are or put them in the chat? 2 things that are even more important than goals. Any suggestions?
Following through with them.
Following through, yeah, Daniel, absolutely spot on. Anything else? Okay, let me share my thoughts. Yes, sorry.
I've got one. I'd say the one thing about goals is the constant striving for improvement. As you've got a set target, I'm going to do so much of this on a day, and you don't hit the target. And even if you don't hit it the next day or the day after, as long as you've done better than the day before, then you've at least got progress. And I think that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've got a thumbs up there from BB that says, yeah, absolutely, knowing exactly what you want and just keep striving for betterness. If that is a word, I don't know. But
I'd also say it's learning through the process. You achieve the goal. The goal is the end result, but you learn through the process, the ups and downs, and that's the real goal, is learning as you go through that process, especially the lessons learned, the hard knocks that you take. That's where you grow, where you stretch yourself. So you see the case where lottery winners have lost all their money because they didn't go through the process of earning that money. They just got it. They just got the end goal like that overnight, and then they lose it. They don't know what to do with it. And so it's like educating yourself and going through that process.
yeah, absolutely. Indeed. I totally agree with that. And I think we've got lots of comments in the chat, learning creative strategies to get money out of the deals. Jack, gaining skills that bring value to the marketplace. Absolutely. Enjoying the journey, I think that's what you were just saying, Nadeem. Enjoying the journey, enjoying the process, knowing the process, taking action, your reason why, etc. Let me share something with you, because this is personal. I'm sharing my personal experience. 2-3 years ago, I said to you before that, I buy properties and we've got a buy-to-let portfolio. We have an estate agency, and I'm in my office at the moment, and the behind me is not a visual, it's actually the office, and the office then goes around in front of me and around the side. So as I say, we've got 10 people working here during the day. We have an estate agency shop front. So if you drove past here, or if you came in the office, you would think he's an estate agent. And I went through this phase of, am I an estate agent or am I a property investor? Am I an estate agent? Am I a property investor? And I'm very clear now, I'm not an estate agent. I have an estate agency business which brings in money, but my true identity is I'm a property investor. And that clarity means my communication then follows through with that. So if I go on a valuation of somebody's property that they want to sell, and as a buy and hold investor, I don't think people should sell their properties, which is not great for an estate agent, is it? So I don't normally go out. But if I go out to somebody's property and I believe that they're doing the wrong thing, then I would say, look, I'll give you a valuation, but I don't think, in my personal view, is that you're doing the right thing for your property to sell your property, because you're selling your main asset. So what I'm trying to say is knowing your identity will follow through in all sorts of stuff. So Paul here, if you don't mind me saying, Paul, it is very high. Paul, did you want to just unmute and tell us you're in the Territorial Army, very high major that has been in there, but the identity in the army is very key, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you get known for what you do, how you perform, the attitude towards people as well. So it's an all-round sort of experience. You've got to be able to manage. You've got to be able to talk to people. You've got to be able to listen, and all that sort of thing. But you've clearly you've got to have a bit of a goal as well. When I joined, which was 38 years ago now, all I ever wanted to be was a sergeant major. And I got sergeant major pretty rapid in about 8 years. And now I'm commissioned, so I'm a major. And I command my own squadron over Brentwood, split over Brentwood and Essex. Takes a lot of work, but there's a lot of good benefits out of that. I've done a lot of different experiences. And actually, if I'm not totally honest, it probably pulled me away from the property side of things. But because I put so much time and effort into it. But I get a lot of life experiences out of it. I've spoken to Sunil about it. I've got all my sailing qualifications, upgraded them last year. I just come back from America and done a 2-week skydiving course where now I can skydive anywhere in the world solo. So it offers a lot of opportunities as well. My property journey as such is I've been a builder all my life, and I stopped that effectively 7 years ago. My property rentals now give me an income, not a massive income. I'm looking to grow that still now again, but I'm looking to move into commercial. I didn't quite catch the first bit what you said, Sunil, anyway, so I'm sort of rattling on there, and hopefully that's something that's relevant or not.
No, it's Paul, it's absolutely brilliant. I was just trying to make the point that, I think I went through this phase about are goals important? Is it values that are important? Is it habits that are important? What is it? And I've basically come to the conclusion after having read books, gone on to YouTube, etc., the identity of who you are at your core is the most important thing. Because I think Helen is here, and Helen was talking to a friend of ours called Harry and saying, it was about smoking. Are you a smoker, or I've just given up smoking, etc. So I'm not making the point very clear, but saying I'm a smoker, but I've stopped smoking is different from saying, I am no longer a smoker or I don't smoke. Then it's just trying to get the identity correct. For example, if you could offer me £1 million to say, could you eat some meat? But my identity is that I'm a vegetarian vegan. So I will never, doesn't matter what you offer me, because that's my belief, my identity as a person. So working on identity is really, really key in many, many aspects, but it's also key when you're talking to people and you're saying, I'm a property investor in Kent and I'm looking for commercial conversion deals where I'm looking for large offices, etc. So they know who you are. So identity is, I think, far more important than just setting a goal, because a goal can come and go, but your identity will develop and it will continue to stay. If those of you who've been in the business a while, Doug, I know you hear other people. If you want to unmute and add to that at all, that I'm happy for you to do so.
No, I'd add that self-belief is what's crucial. Self-belief in your own ability. And if you have such self-belief, then that breeds confidence. And when you have confidence and you're dealing with people, particularly in the property world, that can believe you because you show that, display that confidence, that goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I agree with you.
Sorry, I've just got to mute for a moment.
Yeah, that's okay. So self-belief, where does the self-belief comes from? You know, knowing who you are and working on your identity, which again, that leads to that the skills that you need, yeah, as a property investor is also part of that. And Doug's put creative financing strategy as his experience. Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Helen. I'm not a smoker. Is a stronger message to yourself than others. I used to be a smoker. The language is slightly different, and it's important because don't forget, it's what you're listening to. It's not just what other people are listening to. Other people may listen and they may forget, but it's what's going into your subconscious mind about who you are and about, as John was saying, about believing who you are. But identity is extremely, extremely important. With identity, we hear people, if I've got a certain identity, then I'm going to be spending time with people that I've got the same sort of belief system or same sort of thing. Like here, we have this evening, I think 30 people or so, because we all have the same desire to better ourselves and to create money, create wealth from property. So because we have that identity, we continue to move on. So that's the key, is to developing the identity and also the message from that identity and that what you're looking for. So if you're looking for properties, it becomes part of your identity. I'm looking for, you know, landlords that may be distressed, that I want, and I'm here to help them. So that is part of an identity message. So getting that correct is absolutely vital. So Amit's here and he'll say, yeah, I'm a mortgage broker, but you know, I provide bridging finance for people who are doing developments, etc. So there's a clear message. He knows who he is and how he can help people. So I would very much suggest is once you've got your goal, you've got your plan, is to work on the identity so that you can then communicate that much better. The second one is habits, because as Daniel said about following through. So yes, there are goals which are important. The identity is important, and then developing the habits. So a lot of people talk at this time of the year, oh yeah, have you set your goals? What's your goals? And I think this is a triangle which goes, you know, you have to have your goals, but the other parts are the habits that you create and the identity that you create and the person that you become, and then as a result of that, the money that you earn. So Doug has just put in there about the financial, you know, expertise. So you're not going to get that unless you know where you're going. If you would agree, just put one in the chat so I know everybody's still there. Thank you so much for doing that. So why is identity so important? I'm just jumping back there just because I've got my slide in the wrong way, but it drives everything, and it's much stronger than your goals. So it drives everything. So you need a strong driver, and the driver is, again, you know, if somebody is into fitness, like our friend Emmanuel Zaziko, he dresses in a certain way, he does certain things in a certain way, he goes to the gym every day because he's got his identity. He is a fit person. He wants his body to be strong, and his habit is that he will go to the gym every day at 6:30. So who are you and who do you want to become? So these are the questions you may want to ask yourself. Who am I? Who do I want to become in the next year? In the next 6 months? It may be 3 months. Maybe set your goals smaller so you're not having to wait a year and then go, oh yeah, it's December now, let me have a look at my goals. Maybe say, who do I want to become by March? Do I want to be fitter? Do I want to, you know, get more skills, etc. The habits was the second one. When you know what you want, the person you want to become, you need to become in order to earn the desired level of your income. Look at the habits you need to acquire. So, as I said that Doug just back then, creative financing strategies. So that's maybe a habit that needs to be created, that you would learn from somebody like him on a daily basis to get the skill level that you need. So what are the habits? We say to our people in our estate agency, we've got a young gentleman who's just started with us, and you know, you say, yeah, what do I do? Yeah, you create your daily habits. You need to go out leafleting. You need to speak to, you know, people who may be wanting to sell their properties. You need to do the letters. You need to get on the telephone. You need to learn he's actually a Prince Harry lookalike. So I said, well, when you go out and do Prince Harry, you know your lines, and this is no different. You just need to know your lines so that when you're going to people and you're sitting in front of them and saying, look, you know, at Family Homes, we offer you a personal service. I will sell your property. I will be your main contact from beginning to end. So I'm your concierge. I will organise the finance with you. I will help you with the legals. I'll help you this, because that's what's going to make us different from our competitors. So we need to learn. He needs to learn his lines. And once you've got your goals, you've got your clear vision, you've got your clear identity, you're developing the habits, you're looking at what skills you need. So maybe make a list, not just the goals, but what skills do I need to acquire? I'd like to acquire the skill of reading faster so that I can learn more. I'd like to acquire, you know, I'll go back to Doug, his creative strategies. I had a call the other day from a local estate agent. He said that he's got somebody that contacted him. He's got a possession order in 7 days, and could I help him? And I was going to ring Doug and say, yeah. But the guy, I contacted him, and he took my call twice, but he's not responding. I don't know if he's buried his head in the sand, but yeah, these things happen. But basically, it's having those skills. So maybe make a list of the habits you're going to create. It could be 5 or 6. Some of the skills, 5 or 6 skills that you want to acquire to become the person that you want to become in the next 6 to 12 months, because those will be the foundations going forward, of course. Any comments from anybody? Anybody want to jump in and share anything?
Can I ask a question, Sunil?
Yes, you certainly can. Who else?
Based on your experience, what would you say to be successful in property are the habits and skills you would need to acquire?
Give me 1 second, because I want to give you my right answer as well. Anybody else want to come in? I know, as I said, there's some guys with lots of experience. So from my point of view, it's creating a habit where you can identify opportunities. There are lots of opportunities online. There are opportunities offline, but unless you've got the skills to identify those opportunities, it's not an opportunity. So I bought a property 20 years ago. There's a piece of land on the side, but I didn't have the knowledge at the time to go, oh yeah, this is a plot of land on the side. I could build on that. And it's only recently that we've got 3 years ago, we got the planning and we started building. So, but if I've got the skill of being able to identify opportunities, then I would have been making money on that plot many years ago. But it's also when I purchased it, I didn't go, oh, there's a building plot there, I'll purchase it. I purchased it for the property at the time. So I think identifying, acquiring the knowledge of opportunities is key, and I think that's the mindset. So that's where probably the skill comes in. Being able to analyze deals quickly, I think that is also key, because unless you can identify the deals quickly, you're just going to waste a lot of time. The ability to build up relationships, if it's with suppliers, as I said, John has been very helpful to us, suppliers. If it's the ability to acquire finance. And when I first started, there were no buy-to-let mortgages. So I went to one bank, they said no. I probably went to 10 different banks and they first of all said no. So it's that tenacity to continue to go. And then Lloyds gave me a loan, NatWest gave me a loan, Barclays gave me a loan. So it's the ability to get finance. Nothing has changed in the 30 years I've been in business, is the ability to identify deals on one hand, and on the other hand, the ability to get the finance or to have the finance in place. I talk about a broker that I have worked with in the past, an amazing chap. And when I went to his office, and he was a land broker and doing some deals, and I didn't go to him now, I just went to him for buy-to-let mortgages. He had 2 whiteboards in his office, and one of them he had all the plots that he was selling, all the deals he was selling on one whiteboard, and on the other whiteboard he had all the investors that he knew that would be interested. So if he got a deal, he'd put it on that board, and he'd got something else, he'd put it, he'd got an investor, he'd put it on that board. So if anybody wants to come in there, but I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it's there are basic habits, there are skills, and there are and I think the ability to work hard and to be focused is now not as it used to be, underrated. I think people think, yeah, you've got this app, you've got this, but yeah, I'm still, I'm not saying, look, I'm just saying I choose to work 12 hours a day because that's where my business is. So I'm here at 7:30 in the morning, I'll finish at 7:30 at night, but that's what I choose to do. And I try to be very focused as well. So
can I add to that? Where I'm finding a lot of success at the moment is tapping into the skill set and marketing it as well. So what I'm finding that's working for me, I'm up and coming. I've not made it yet. I will, but right now I'm seeing what's working for me really well. And it's the ability to just kind of, again, put yourself out there, market as hard as possible. And again, identifying opportunities. I think my motto for last year, getting into business, getting into a business that I want to scale, was trying to create as many opportunities for yourself. For example, find as many ways to create leads. I learned a lot about back-end systems and lead generation and marketing. Now, anytime I can, I'll try to market myself a little bit. I'll kind of reach out, whether that means getting on stage or posting on Instagram, social media, going really hard on that. Where I'm making money is I'm doing free tutorials on using softwares that help you find, analyze deals. And now I'm about to get into another software that allows businesses to build out their back end websites, CRMs, everything like that. So what I found is working for me is just putting yourself out there as much as possible, telling the world what you do, and also offer loads of free value. Like Sunil said, you offer so much free value, and it's incredible. But whatever your industry is and your niche, try and offer that. I teach people how to find deals really quickly. And now I'm going to go into another business where I'm going to be teaching people that are starting their businesses to how to build their website, their CRM system, how to do email automation and marketing, how to build sales pipelines and whatnot. So I'm excited for all that. But yeah, I think to add that, I think that's really important to be successful nowadays, is to just get really good at marketing and telling the world what you do.
I think that's fantastic, because I miss that, and I think that's probably more of a skill now that we all need to obtain, acquire than before, which is yeah, social media, getting out there, building a, and I think Amit's put in the comments, he's put, build your personal brand, become a specialist in what you do. So there's a saying that's, you know, sort of, it's not it's not what you know, it's who you know. Would you agree?
Mm.
Yeah, I'll take that one step
Definitely.
forward. Yeah, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, but who actually knows you. So when people get to know you and you're the local properties expert in your area and they have a problem, they're going to come to you. So if you have toothache, you go to, you know that the specialist is going to be the dentist, and property is no different, but people need to know that you're the specialist to go to and that you will be able to help them. So I think the personal brand is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, but who knows you, which is vital to your success. Because if people don't know you, then they're not going to come to you either for advice or they've got a deal that they want to share, or they want to give you money, or whatever it is. So how they're going to get to know you, exactly what Kane's saying, is being able to put forward your message as best you can.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, other people may disagree, but I don't think you need to be, I think it's just sharing your story. And I know a lot of people here have done that on social media. Maybe he has started doing social media and he, you know, this is my room and I'm doing SA, or, you know, this is what I'm doing today. And it's not scripted, it's just him, and it's very real, and it's, you know, that's his brand, and that's absolutely fantastic.
Sunil, that I think the ability to build worthwhile relationships shouldn't be underrated. The ability to build relationships in any field, and in doing that, you shouldn't be afraid to show a little humility. You know, you should never go into any relation building exercise thinking that you're Billy Big Bollocks and that you know everything. You need to, choose my language, but you need to know, you need to let people know that, you know, we're all in this world, we're all in this business to learn what we can from whoever. And if you go in there thinking you know everything, I've been in this business for over 40 years, and I have never ever said to anybody that I know everything, because I don't. So be prepared to talk to people, listen to them, and grasp whatever you can, and also offer what you can.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, that it is about humility. We are all learning from each other all the time. You know, as I say, you know, you come and do talks for us, and you talked about the health and safety, and, you know, contracts, and that you shouldn't use the contractor's contract. Yeah, you know, I've picked up so many tips from the times that you've come into the meetings. You know, the way that Doug operates, I'm saying Doug because he's been in the business a long time and he uses creative strategies, and he comes along and he says, and I'm thinking, what have I done for this 20 years? I've bought properties, got a mortgage from a bank, and I've done this. And I look at him and he's gone, yeah, I learned how to do the creative strategies and I did this. So yeah, maybe I missed a trick. So, you know, maybe Nadine, that's a fantastic question, but again, that's the thing, isn't it? How do you get other people's money? How do you build those relationships? It is all about relationships, and it's about being identifying that you're working with the right people, and that's not always easy because people can change as well. You know, they can join you, and their circumstances change. I mean, John knows I've been with a business partner, and you know, his personal relationship changed 3 times during our partnership. You know, he went abroad, various things happened, but so yeah, adaptability is important. And I think I'm so blessed and gifted the fact that I went into property, because if I continued to work for somebody else, I can honestly say that I would not be the person I am today. And it's not because of the money. And I think that's what Doug was saying. It's not because of the money. It's because of what it actually gives you, what it teaches you, the person you become as a result of the goals that you chase. Any other comments from anybody? Yeah, Jack, please unmute yourself, my friend.
I was just going to follow up on what you were saying about how the person that you're becoming, and it's all about the challenges and the trials and the trials and tribulations. Everything that you go through on the journey is kind of, it builds you into that person. You don't just click your fingers like that and then you're your ideal version. You've got to self-analyze and look into kind of the future and think, okay, this is who I want to be in the next 5, 10, 3, 1, 6 months, however long you want it to be. And then you kind of just think, okay, so I'm going to act accordingly. What would that person do? And then it's all about going through that process, and you're not going to hit it perfect every time. And then when you do get a setback, it's about getting back up and then, like I say, just keep building yourself. And then slowly over time, it's just like chipping away at the stone, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Nadeem, you asked a really good question about, you know, what are the skills, what are the habits? What do you think they are?
I think very much the points that you mentioned, but also the ability to continue when the situation gets difficult, because it's all very easy to, you know, carry on when things are going well, but when things get difficult and you get knocked off track, to be able to continue and carry on and have that mindset, that resilience, and not be distracted by all the noise that's out there. There's so much noise. I mean, you can enroll on every single course there is available and implement nothing, and be able to, you know, remove the noise, understand what you need to focus on, and then move forward with those particular goals in mind, and, you know, and be able to avoid or be able to deal with the impacts as and when they hit you, because they will.
Nadeem, you couldn't be more correct. Building projects never or very rarely run completely smoothly. You will always have hurdles to jump, and resilience is a huge part of success, a massive part of success. Don't be discouraged just because you hit a brick wall. Find a way over that wall.
And I think it's fantastic that you asked the question, because it opens up a discussion. And I get a lot of value from this, because you asked a question, it made me think, okay, what are the skills? What is this? What is, you know, so that I appreciate that. So if anybody's got any other questions, we're happy to take them. And we're talking about goals, the identity, habits, the skills we need to acquire, and looking at all those things that would, you know, in the next couple of months, so you can go, oh, yeah, I need to get this skill of negotiation. So let me go and look at how I can get that skill. Talking to estate agents, if that's where you're going to be getting your leads. So how do you talk to, you know, as I say, you know, the guy that's joined us recently is a trainee estate agent. You know, you need to learn your lines. So when you go and see somebody, you need to have all the facts in your head, so that it can just come off where, you know, to the people, and it's so natural. So yeah, fantastic question. Any other questions that anybody wants to ask or share? Any comments? Daniel, be very quiet tonight.
Yeah, I'm just listening in. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to know sometimes, you know, for people with the, you know, the experience, you know, as of many of you are in here now, you know, there could be some particular ones which do like new builds or, you know, commercial to residential, you know, buy-to-lets, etc. I'm sure, you know, during their journey, as you know, you mentioned about humility and that sort of stuff, and asking questions, that they've come across, you know, issues and hurdles where, you know, it could have been very painful for them at the time. But it would be interesting to hear, you know, if anybody would like to share some that they've been through during their journey and what they did to overcome it, because it could be a case that somebody may be going through it now, or going to come to that particular thing soon, and it may help them.
Yep, absolutely. Anybody like to share on that?
So Neil, it's Helen here in Scotland.
Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you very much. I put a question in the chat, and I thought I'm just going to stop packing quickly and just have a chat, if I may, but I don't want to hold up the room. Just on the purpose of habits and of putting yourself out there and all the things that we've been talking about and listening to this evening, I just wanted to clarify my question. I have had somebody chat to me for almost 3 years now. They've brought information, they've brought deals that they've seen, they've brought all sorts of things. We've had coffee. I've spent a lot of time giving them pointers, giving them some direction and what have you. And I know that what they actually want is money for one of those deals. Should I be saying to them, okay, I will invest in you? Or should I be waiting for them to say, would you be interested in investing in me? Because in my mind, they should be building the habit of bravery. They should be building the confidence in themselves and what they want to do in order to come and say, would you like to invest in my project? Would you like to invest in me? Would you like to be a joint venture partner or what have you? And they've never done it. And I took them to task at the beginning of the year and said, why have you not done this? And they said, I don't like to ask.
Wow.
Make a habit to know what you want and to ask for it. It's not going to fall out of the sky, I don't think. That's my thought. And I said, have you ever gone to the bank and asked for a mortgage? And they said, yes, they had. What is the difference? What is the difference? If you're brave enough to go to the bank and ask for a mortgage, why are you not brave enough to say, this is my deal, this is what I believe, this is my belief in myself and my abilities, would you like to invest? And I thought I should give a bit of background to the question so that it was a fuller thing for people's thoughts. Thank you so
Helen, just what you've said there completely demonstrates what we were talking about relationships and confidence and humility and everything else. If you're going to enter into a financial relationship with someone, you've got to have full confidence in each other. And you've also got to demonstrate transparency, because how can you rely on a deal if you can't trust or have transparency with the person you're making that deal with?
100%.
Yeah. And the way you've talked about this particular person, I would feel very uncomfortable about getting involved.
That was my final thought was, at this stage of your journey, I would not be comfortable to invest. But that doesn't mean to say I will not give them some advice, give them some input, give them some pointers, give them some of my time. I'm happy to do that because I think that's how we help each other along on this journey and along in life. But will I give you my money? Not at the moment, mate.
No, I think you're right.
I would say, Helen, that's a fantastic example, but I struggle also with asking people for money, and it's something not because of the other people, it's because of my own beliefs and things like that. So I'll be honest, I'm working on that, because unless you've got the ability to ask for money, you're not going to get people who want to invest. They may think you've got money, or that, you know, for whatever reason that you're not interested in that. But I think it's, again, what Nadine was asking, what skills or habits is the skill to be able to ask somebody with respect and say, oh, I value your opinion and I've got this project and would you like to invest? It's only a yes or no, and I'll make it sound so simple, but I'm also the mindset and thinking, right, what security? What happens if it goes wrong? This is a person's life rather than an institution, or not that I've never ever not paid the institution, because I borrow money from banks and building societies and mortgage companies, and of course we pay them back. I've also had a business partner that said, it's okay, let's just close the company down now that we're going to do and not repay the bounce back loan. So in that situation, I wrote to my solicitor and also called her and said, before you do anything, just pay the bounce back loan off. And she took that as an instruction. She paid the 40 grand that was outstanding to the bounce back people, because that's how it is. But yeah, I also feel I find it difficult to ask people for money, if it's a small amount of money. So it's a skill. And I think it's a great question, Nadine, about, you know, what skills would you like to acquire? Well, that, I think I'm going to write that one on my list because of what Helen is just saying there. So I don't think I can answer your question, Helen, but I think John made comments on your question.
I would add to this by saying it's an interesting thing, because a lot of the time when you're pitching an idea or a deal to someone, people don't like to be pitched to. So I've been trained in some regards. I mean, I do a healthy bit of both, depends on the person. However, I mean, I do always end up coming to close a question eventually. But I remember some of my training was a good way to pitch to someone is to go off and say, hey, to go to the person you want, who you think would be interested or make good for an investor. And you go to that person, hey, and say, hey, I've got this deal and it looks really good, and I'm thinking about pitching it to a bunch of investors. Is it right if I can pitch this to you and see what you can get your thoughts? And then you go from that. Then they think, okay, we're helping, we're in it together. Then you pitch your idea, and then at the end of that, you'll kind of get a sense for if that person's interested or not, or maybe that person will come off their own idea. It's like, oh, this is a good idea. You know what? I might invest. But I guess that in his situation, he may have gone down that line of trying to persuade you by not directly asking you at first, but like showing you the deal or the proposed plan of what they were going to go ahead with, and he just didn't get around to asking the final question for you to be like, what do you think? Would you invest in something like that? I think if he had closed with that, would you be more open to of working with him?
I think that question was for you, Helen.
Yeah,
I think it was too. So I'm just still sitting here. And I will come back with my thoughts. Is yes, I think you're possibly quite right. If they had taken that, even that very small, brave step, I would like to see some commitment from them in what they feel they're able to do. Because if I'm going to be bringing the money to the party and they're going to be bringing the skills and the deal to the party, I want to know that they are fully committed and they're fully confident in the deal, and that it's not just, oh, I found this thing and I think it might be a good idea. And I want to see something a little bit more substantial. I want to see your facts. I want to see your figures. I don't want to just chat over coffee about what you think this might be able to work out. I want you to have done your homework, or part of your homework at least, before you come and have that conversation. And even if you just come and say, I've got these, and this is my point, is just the confidence that you make confidence be a habit. And it's not a case of fake it till you make it. I don't believe in faking anything at all. I just believe in going and working hard, and eventually you will make it. It's being brave. It's just gathering yourself and saying, okay, I'm really scared about this. Put that on the table. I'm happy about that. Put it on the table. I'm really scared because I've never done this before. That's okay. What is it that you're hoping to achieve? Where are you going? Like Sunil said right in the beginning, know what you want or know your why. I go, know what you want, know why you want it, and then know how you're going to get it. And if part of that, how you're going to get it, is saying to an investor, will you invest with me? And I think your idea is quite good. Go through and pitch to somebody and say, can I just run this past you? Because I'm going to go and speak to some people and I'm feeling that I would be more confident if I had just spoken it out loud first and not just let it go through my head. If that is an answer to come back with.
Yeah,
thanks,
absolutely.
Sunil.
No, thank you. Really good to see you, and I'm glad you're here today. Daniel, you had a question. Could you just summarize that question again, please? And then we'll...
Yeah, for sure. Just for that, I have a quick question for Helen in regards to that subject, if that's okay.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, for sure. Surely there must have been some doubts in the back of your mind too, Helen. It couldn't have been the only thing which has stopped you investing in that person. It'd be interesting to know the little bit of the psyche behind, what you've just said.
Okay, a little bit of background. This is somebody that I met in a training course, a mastermind course that I had gone to because I was looking for somebody to replace me in my business, because I just wanted to invest in somebody else and bring them along and help them to get on the ladder and to help them climb the way I had done it in the past myself. because we didn't have all this technology in those days. We just rolled up our sleeves and got on with it. So it's nice now to be able to put a hand out and help somebody else up. So I'd met this chap. The mentor was trying to persuade him to sell his family home in order to buy a commercial property that he could then convert to resi. He is a builder by trade. And I messaged him and I said, please don't do that until we've had a conversation. So I met with him and I said, there are other things that I think you should be thinking of and looking at before you sell your family home. And we went through all the steps and all the stages and all the things and ideas that he could do in order to retain his family home and build on it anyway, by using the collateral, things that we do in property. And then he came back and he said, okay, all right, that was great. That helped. And I want to set it up as an Airbnb. How do I do that? So we went through that whole process. I'm quite happy to give my time, my experience, as I've said before, happy to do that. It takes a little bit more effort to get the money out of me. What he would have had needed to do in that instance was just say, this is what I've looked at. Will you invest? You've given me time, you've given me experience, you've given me knowledge, you've given me support, you've given me help, you've given me so many things. Will you now give me some money? That's all it would have taken, Dan. Simple as that.
You know, it's interesting. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Dan, if you have more to say. But you say don't fake it till you make it. But with a lot of things, and with being brave and to be a leader, a lot of the time that is you are leading a team, or you are being brave, and you don't know where the next step is in front of you. You are blindly going into something that you truly don't know the results of. And with that, you kind of do have to fake it till you make it a bit. If you're going into something you're not 100% sure of, but ultimately you're going to take it on anyway, you're going to take on that risk. So I would say, I mean, the phrase "fake it till you make it" is not, that isn't shown with the most light, but it just goes to show also that you have to have confidence. You have to fake it a bit, you can't be like, yep, I'm certain this is going to work, because nothing's a certainty in life. But yeah, if you're not certain, every time you're trying to sell a deal, or you're trying to sell something, or you're trying to get someone on board with an idea, even if you're not 100% sure if you'll be able to ultimately do that, I mean, hopefully you are, you want to have as much certainty as possible. But if you want to be brave, then sometimes you just got to think, hey, let's just take that step and be confident and go with it, see how it goes. And that's where it comes to being brave. So you do have to fake a little bit, because I mean, that's what risk is at the end of the day. But it's an interesting food for thought thing that just was on my mind.
I think confidence and faking it is two different things. I think if you try to fake it, fake it till you make it, and you were to speak utter nonsense to a person like John, you'll look like a bit of a waddy. However, if you went to John and you said, I'm doing this, that, and the other, however, I'm thinking of this, what do you think? I tend to find people, especially in the community that I'm in, are very happy to help. And everyone seems to, that I've met anyway, more than happy to help people. So I think there's I'm not sure I agree fully with that statement.
I would just follow on for that, saying I guess the fake to make it is the level of confidence you have in a deal. So like the way you say it is definitely the way you want to go around most things when it comes to negotiation, talking and proposing ideas. You want to just kind of put your things on the table and then say, hey, this is the idea, and then see how they feel about it, and then close at the end. But then there's people out there that are in sales that will just either hard sell, or they're not 100% sure, but they've got so much energy and enthusiasm, and they just want to go ahead with it. And they'll also still be able to close because debated on that. And yeah, the phrase "fake it to make it," I mean, maybe I'm just seeing it from a different perspective at the moment, but I guess it depends on the level of confidence you go at. Sometimes you're like overconfident about something you don't know. Like if you don't know something too much, but you're very confident and you feel confident about it. And then other times where you've got the confidence, or you've got you think it might work, but you don't have the confidence, but you're more realistic. But sometimes the fake it wins in that regards, even if they haven't got it all.
I think to summarize the conversation, you know, as entrepreneurs, as property people, you know, we need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We need to develop that skill. And so the person that's speaking to yourself, Helen, they need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. They need to step out their comfort zone and ask those difficult questions, have that awkward conversation, even if they don't feel confident doing it. That vulnerability, that honesty, that transparency will come over, and you probably win the person over just because you are being honest, you're being sincere, you're being vulnerable, and but you are being honest. And if you're prepared to show your vulnerabilities or your lack of confidence, I don't think there's any harm in that. You will grow as a person, because once you take that, you put that foot forward, you move forward, you will gain confidence over time. And it's that transparency, that honesty that we need to show, but to be able to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And unfortunately, in society, we get stuck in comfort. And it's hard to step out of that. And I think that's what really we need to be able to do, and that person needs to be able to do. So yeah, those are my 2 pennies on that one.
I like your thinking, and I'm just going to come back, Sunil, if you would just bear with me a second, just to come back and say, yes, I do like your thinking. And that will also make me go away and think about my response and how I am reacting to the lack of the question being asked, and where maybe I should just have other conversations and go back and say, okay, just restructure what I was going to give him as feedback ultimately after this conversation. And I think some of what I've heard is a little bit like sending a rocket to the moon. You don't know what's going to go wrong. Things do go wrong, but you've got to know that you can be able to fix them. And if you can't, you come back to base level and you start again and you build again. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Helen. Appreciate all your input and questions and comments and everything else. And yeah, it opens up a discussion about fake it till you make it. I don't know if I agree with what was being said. I just think that if you do enough, or if you're not doing enough, you may have to fake more. But if you're doing a lot, people will see that. If that's what you need to show. And it's also social media is just about sharing what you're doing on a daily basis. So if you're not doing enough, then yeah, what happens? But you know, you could say, well, I need a certain type of car because that will show people that I'm successful, or is it I want to drive a certain type of car? So yeah, there's lots of thoughts on that. So I need to finish in about 10 minutes. So Daniel, do you want to go back to your question quickly? And whilst Daniel does that, trainings in the next month or so, or not, well, this coming year. So my objective for this year is to give more value to the Property Millionaire community by doing more Zooms, by doing in-room meetings. As I say, the community is now building to 500 people, which is great. It's non-profit. And so if you'd like any trainings, I mean, if it's joint venture training, if it's talking about a discussion, we prefer a discussion as a training. But if it's, you know, joint ventures, if it's how do we ask for money, there'll be experts here that'll be able to help with those. So anything you want, just put it in the chat and then we could look at those things. But Daniel, yeah, just take your question finally. And
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's just confidence within yourself, and as long as you can show the ability that if you didn't know something, you can go and find it out. I think that's just my opinion. But the question I had was obviously during people's journeys. It could be, you know, some people are dedicated to do new build properties. It could be commercial to residential conversions, you know, rent to SA or whatever. It could be whatever strategy. It would be interesting to know what some of the large hurdles they've gone through during their journey and what they did to get over those hurdles, because it may help some of us. You know, it could be the case that somebody's going through that now, or they're going to go through it in future, and they may recall, you know, one of these previous Zoom messages where they heard, you know, somebody say, oh yeah, such and such said this, and this is what they did, or maybe I can reach out to this person, and you know, they might be able to help me. I just think it might be something that might be able to help a few people as a topic.
Yeah, if anybody, Nadeem, did you want to come in on that, or?
Yeah, I can speak about an example, a very recent example. So myself and my business partner, we're working on a refurbishment, and it's in Kent, and it's a probate that we purchased, 2-bedroom, and we're full back to brick renovation. We're converting to a 3-bedroom with a loft extension using PD, and we're going to flip it, and we're nearly complete. This started just at the end of August. We went through the whole tendering process with a number of builders. They came on site, we discussed, we decided to go with one particular set of builders. We decided to use local builders, so it was easier for them to get to the site and work on site. And they had good experience, and we checked their history, and we decided on a set of builders and started working with them, all going very, very well, moving forward, all very happy. And then coming to Christmas, one of the main guy who is in charge was turning up less and less on site, and he was leaving it to the lesser experienced guys to carry on the work, and they were not really keeping up to the timeline that we had discussed and the milestones that we had agreed. And we saw less and less of him, and we had to have those difficult conversations to find out what's going on, why. And it turned out that the guy was going through, I think you mentioned it earlier, Sunil, personal challenges. He's going through a divorce, and I think it just was impacting him personally. And then one day he basically he wasn't there on site, and we asked the other guy, where is he? He goes, oh, he's not coming back. Just before Christmas. And he's not coming back, and we should have finished in December, and but we're still, we saw this coming, we sensed it was coming, and based on prior experience, we were able to bring in other trades that were further away, but we had worked with them before, we had a relationship with them before. They were able to juggle their workload and basically come on site and carry on the work. It's costing us a little bit more, but overall, we're still moving forwards, and we were able to mitigate that risk because A, we saw it coming, and B, we started having those conversations with the other builders that we knew to come on site and pick this up. So it's just about being 2 or 3 steps ahead. Again, having a difficult conversation and just having to draw the line and say, right, don't bother coming back on site. We're gonna go with someone else, and that's what we had to do. So yeah, I'm sure there are loads of people who had other challenges, but that was a recent one, and it has impacted us, not too badly, but it has impacted us. But you need to be able to mitigate, move forwards, and deal with the situation.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely. So yeah, live example there, Daniel. I hope that answers your question. Sometimes I think it's sticking to the basics, buy-to-lets or simpler projects, because we've been in projects for 3 years. It looked good at the beginning. We've invested a lot of money, and the market changed, and we can't exit and it's not in our control. If I'd invested the same amount of money into buy-to-lets for the last 3 years, the properties would have gone up in value. We've had a rental income, and there would have been less risk, and the amount of money, the time put in, I still don't know if I'm going to get paid out at the end. So is it better to stick to the basics? Yeah, sometimes you've got to do these things to find out. Could I have done it better? Well, yes, I could have done, but also the market in terms of costs and things like that has also changed, which has made deals that are going out for, like we've got on the market for sale, they're not moving as fast as we would have hoped. So yeah, it's the bigger the project, the more affected you are by the market. I think with a simple buy-to-lets and all that, you're less affected. So there's also those considerations. Anybody else want to come in on Daniel's question before we close for this evening? thank you for the question, Daniel. Thank you, Nadine, for the answer, and John and everybody else. Helen has contributed. Kane, thank you. Thanks for the people in the chat. As you put in some of the topics, still sourcing auction properties or auction purchases, raising finance. I've also, Paul, you're asking about recommendations for a commercial solicitor. If I know somebody, I do know a couple of commercial solicitors, but it depends on what you're looking to do, because not all solicitors are the same. So it could be, is it a purchase? What is it? So yeah, if you text me tomorrow some more details, then I'll put you in contact with the right person, because we've got a solicitor that does shareholder agreements, another solicitor that does commercial, where you're buying a company and you're buying the shares and not the property. We've got another solicitor that does straightforward transactions, somebody else that does commercial property as well. So it all depends on what you're trying to achieve and what there is. So if you have any thoughts on the terms of training or any discussions you'd like to open up, it'd be fantastic if we have evenings where we're just discussing and people are just opening up the mic, just like on Clubhouse, and we have a discussion where we can see each other. Then it's much better. There'll be other occasions where we could do some training, and it doesn't have to be me, it can be anybody that wants to do a training. I'm all good for that. Next month, which is February, we normally meet in person in Sittingbourne in Kent on the second Wednesday of every month. It's actually Valentine's Day, so we're going to do it a day early on the Tuesday, but I'll confirm that as soon as I've spoken to the venue. And most Februaries, or the last couple of Februaries that we've met, we've actually done speed networking. So if you're looking for a joint venture partner, finance, if you're looking for a broker, bring lots of cards along. If you're looking to promote yourself, bring lots of cards along. If you don't have cards anymore and you do things by your phone, then make sure you've got that, because if there's 40 people in the room, you're going to make 39 contacts that you may have never had before. You may come across a partner, a joint venture partner. You may also find that you find your Valentine's the day before Valentine's Day. So just book in. It'll be on the WhatsApp group coming on. So we're going to do it on the 13th of February, and then the theme will be the following Wednesday again. So thank you, everyone. Unless there's any other final comments, then I'm going to close.
I guess I had just one little thing in terms of training. So I don't know if people use property market intel to source their deals, but on Saturday I'm doing a free call on how to use the software to find deals fast. So if anyone wants to pop in for that, then shoot me a message and I'll get you on the call.
Great, thanks, Ken. If you want to put it in the WhatsApp group, then you can do that, so that people are not here, they also can benefit from that training. Family and joint ventures to safeguard, safeguarding family and joint ventures. What do you mean by that, John? Because is it when you leave your family, if something happens to your family, is going to have to pick up, or I think that was John B, but yeah, I'll talk to him. Family or joint venture to safeguard. But yeah, there's lots of ideas for trainings. If you get any others, then just drop them down in the WhatsApp group, and that'd be amazing, and we can do those. Thanks again for joining us, and if you need anything, just WhatsApp me or call me and we can have a chat. Okay, thank you.
Well done, Sunil. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Anil.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Anil.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.